G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today we're going to get started on the travel journal series that I'm hoping to do all here on YouTube for my Paris and London travel journals. Here they are. I've already done a bit of a flip through about where we're currently at, having come back from the holiday, and this is everything that I've journaled on the holiday. Now we're going to get started on actually putting it all together. Like I said before, this is kind of a new format for me where I'm just going to insert clips like vlog style. If they come up in conversation, I really don't know if this is going to be a dumpster fire of a video. Honestly, I'm so sorry. Hopefully they get better over time. I've never done this format before. So if I have clips, I'll put them in or I'll overlay them or something. Hopefully I have some nice music in the background. We'll see how this all comes together. But I want to work real time because I feel like that's a fun way for us to get to share the stories and spend more time together. And hopefully you have some kind of journaling, if not actually a travel journal, that you want to do alongside me. First of all, with my travel journaling, if you've done my Memory to Memento course, which is a whole travel journal workshop, you obviously don't need to do that to understand what's going on here, but I do recommend separating everything out for when you've come back from your trip. So I'm going to show you the few little piles that I have, and I'm working really specifically today on just the part where we left the States and we arrived in Paris, because believe it or not, a lot of stuff happens just getting to the holiday, and I want to document all of it. So I have the photos that represent being at the airport, being on the plane. I have actually taken the photo from when we left and then the photo from when we came back. I like to put those next to each other because I think that's a fun kind of memory to see the before and after, usually looking haggard at the end. The Airbnb, no, the hotel, I think it was a hotel. It looked like an Airbnb, but it was a hotel. The Uber, stuff like that. So that's the photo stuff that I have for this. So that's all there, and I know that I can get it all in there. It's even fussy cut, ready for me to go on glossy sticker paper so that I don't have to use glue for these photos, because usually the glue, I'll get glue everywhere. Anyway, then I take the rest of the ephemera that I have and I divide it up into not categories, but piles in accordance to size. So this is kind of my large size ephemera, especially considering that this is the size of the journal, Traveler's Notebook insert. Things like the ticket for the plane takes up almost the entire page. So these are great to layer things on top of, make them extra pages like tip-ins, so that even though there's a ton of pages in here, I can add this extra and then I can get lots of photos and journaling on there. So these are good for kind of building pages out of, pardon me, also harvesting, bigger pieces of ephemera. And then I have this medium-sized pile here, which are just kind of bits and pieces. This is stuff from the plane, my passport, little bag tags, swing tags, stuff like that. This isn't from my trip, but I just took it off another journal and I think I could use it. So this is all the kind of medium to small. This, I guess, was a small pile. Then you've got your teeny tiny little bits and pieces. These are great for decorating at the end. So I usually leave these towards the end because they're great to fill in little spaces. And that's how I kind of make sense of all of the ephemera that doesn't really, it doesn't need to be highlighted. Like, there's no real reason why I need to have this, but I will pretty much collect anything that isn't stapled to the ground. So this is something I will put in there. And look, it says Air France, so it just works. I've also got a ton of these metro tickets and I need to use them somehow. I've already got a ton in there already. I think we accidentally bought too many, but there are cute little mementos, so I do want to make sure I use these. And if I get the urge to come up with a fun idea, or I feel like maybe I want to make a whole background out of them, I've just got a bunch of stuff to play with. But for the most part, it's all pretty specific to the plane. I have a few things from Collage Club, some originals that were a little French themed. I will mostly save the decorating for the end, and any kind of writing and journaling, I won't subject you to that. That's kind of boring. So we're going to essentially build ourselves some pages, and I want to do that because when I did the journal, I kind of just went from one thing to the next, and there are a lot of blank left pages, but also like this is really just the airplane. This is on the airplane. That was the way there. This was supposed to be the way back. I didn't end up journaling that. Maybe I'll try and remember it, but if not, I need to kind of fit it all within this space because I don't want to start taking over the next bits, if that makes sense. So I'm going to have to add some extra pages in. I want to put the travel tickets in first because those are the most quintessential travel journaling item, right? I've got washi tapes. I think I'm just going to use the ones that I can see. Let's not be difficult. I love this postage stamp one. And I'm going to washi tape this in as a tip in. Now, because this, I don't want to put it right in the gutter. I find that is difficult with these inserts because they're staples. They're staple bound. They kind of come apart if you chunk them up too close to the spine. I'm going to put it this way, I think. Or do I want it this way? I think I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to just put it close enough to the spine and washi tape it on either side. This would be a good time to go and get my French-themed washi tapes, I guess, if I had some. I do have one, I think. Oh, I have a whole one that I made. I have a Parisienne one. Why am I not using that? I'm a fool, Kim. Sorry, bear with me. We are real live time drama here, so I'm just going to grab some of that tape. Maybe in the next video I'll be prepared with more tapes that are a bit more specific. Here is a wide version of it, and I do believe I have a thinner version, but maybe I don't have one started. That's okay. I'll use the wide version for it. Oh, there it is. Knew it. Great. Well, this will be good. That's themed. Team with the theme. Now, that can kind of stay like that, but it does have space here. Like, if I wanted to put this, I think that's a good place to put an extra bit of decoration. And this, sometimes it fits, sometimes you just see something and it works. So you just go for it. Have this big Scotch tape runner. I think the first person I ever saw use something this big, I don't know if it's the same one, is Adele, Inky Quill, for a big scrapbooking, I think that Project Life maybe. But I used to see her with this massive tape runner. I was super jealous because I didn't know where she got it from. Even though I'm sure it's listed in every video. But I was using the teeny tiny ones, the little Tombow Mono adhesive ones. And so I thought, well, those do well for me, but I just got so sick of replacing them. So I got this one. It's not the stickiest stick ever, but it is super consistent. And I've been using this for ages and there's still so much left. So I'm a bit of a fan of this big Scotch tape runner. Like I said, I don't know if it's the actual one that Adele uses, but I do like it. All right, we've got this here. That's a big piece of ephemera. I think this would do well as well. They gave us these packets, these sanitary packets for gels and masks and stuff like that. And this would be another great page. I haven't really decided yet whether I want things to kind of chunk up over the edges. And what I mean by that, this journal here, this is a garbage journal. And see how everything kind of folds over the edges? These are great. These are super tactile. It's a really fun experience to flip through them, but they're obviously going to get beaten to death with all of the handling. But is that something I'm okay with? I think I am. I think I'm going to make the executive decision to do that today, ladies and gentlemen. So let me do that here. Let me put it on the front because, I mean, it's a big part of it, the whole sanitization, and we were traveling with some restrictions. It was actually quite relaxed, but I'm just going to put it in that way, I think. On the, we were supposed to have a test within 24 hours on the way home, but they actually stopped that. The Sunday, we were traveling on the Tuesday, the Sunday before we left, they ended that restriction, which was good because we hadn't actually figured out a place to get the testing done at that point. So Steve and I were very happy about that, and it saved us a lot of money. Then put some washi tape on. It's always good to reinforce it when you're gonna have a lot of handling. Try and get it as flat as you can. I use my fingernail to press in wherever the edges are. Just be careful you don't press too hard because I've often slice it off, then it's actually not even attached to anything. It's just decorative at that point. And I might use the little version on the inside. I have so many different manufacturers of these tapes at this point. Well, I've tried so many over time that some of them, like the adhesive level on each of them is always just a little bit different. Some are a little bit lower tack than others. But usually on these papers, they all work fine, especially for tip-ins. So that's going to be great there. And now that's what's going to happen. So there's going to be a little bit of hangover on the edge, which is okay. We've already got one ticket stub that's kind of a feature when we push it over. Like nothing's really going to go on the top of that, but I think we can maybe even put this one here or look like it comes kind of halfway out. I think that's cute. How am I going to do that without making a nightmare for myself? I've got to put a fold in it somewhere, I guess. I'll slot it in where I want it and then I'll kind of put some tape on the back. Where is the fold? There. I think I want it here. That's good. For me, I guess it doesn't have to be perfectly stuck down. Just put a few bits and then fold it closed. There we go. Oh, lovely. And you know what? We could probably stick some things over the top of that, like some of our photos. But I want to get more of this medium to large ephemera down first, because that's how we build all of our bases. And this, I think, would just go great here. These are actually sticky, so hopefully I don't have to mess about with the tape. Waste not, want not. Look, all I can say about the flight over was that I am a Delta Sky Miles member, so I try to collect all those miles. And I wish they would retroactively do it, because I joined way too late and I'd already done like 6 billion flights at that point. But anyway, I collect them now, and I booked through Delta because I wanted to... Is that thing that does something weird to my journals? I've had these in here before and they've like turned the journal black. Oh well, we'll find out. If it is, I will know forever and ever that these things do something weird to it. My last travel journal, something weird happened when I put stuff like this in. It is very sticky. So what I was saying was, I tried to book, well I did, I booked through Delta, but sometimes they offer different carriers, right? So we actually got put on an Air France flight. And you know, I'm okay with some of the older aircrafts, because typically the older aircrafts have bigger seating plans, and the seating arrangements are usually a bit more comfortable. But there was just something about this flight that I did not enjoy. First of all, it was roasting hot. I felt like I was on a slow roast the whole time. And I don't like to complain, because we did have a good time and it wasn't the end of the world. But it was actually pretty horrendous as far as flights go. And I told Steve I probably wouldn't ever choose to fly Air France again. So sorry to all my Air France people. But yeah, it just was not enjoyable. And it kind of made me upset, because I did pay a premium to book through Delta because I wanted to collect the miles, and they even had an economy version of the ticket where you didn't actually collect miles if you purchased that. It was quite an amount cheaper, and I thought, no, well, I need to collect the miles, so I ended up kind of paying for half the miles. Really, I don't know if I'm being scammed in that system. I'm not smart enough to know, and I haven't really read through the Points Guys articles and all of that, but I should be better about that. Anyway, can't win them all. Oh, I love this. I love the waist bag. You know, I don't think I need the waist bag, but it does have some Air France stuff on there. I think I've definitely got enough Air France. Do I? Yeah, there's a little bit there, and I've got these little bits and pieces. I don't know, we'll harvest some more, but this was a little lunch bag they gave us. All of that to say, I spent the extra money and I feel like it wasn't really worth it. I would have been okay to fly with Delta at first. I used to think Delta was a really cheap airline, but they got really good over time, and I was always very happy to fly Delta. I flew Delta on my way to Australia last Christmas, and I flew Delta on the way home, obviously flying at a pretty bizarre time, and I had the whole road to myself, so, you know, that doesn't hurt as far as the guest experience goes. But yeah. Air France, not for me, sorry. And I shouldn't say, it probably wasn't the worst, but it wasn't worth the money, I think, that I paid for it. The trip was. The trip was definitely worth it. Also, there was an option to fly into Orly. And I decided to fly into Charles de Gaulle because that's what I'm familiar with, and I think, in my mind, you can only go somewhere that you're familiar with, otherwise you get lost. Forgetting that we live in the 21st century and I have a phone. I still travel as if I don't have a mobile phone, so it's always a bit of an experience with me. Let's put this here. Just a bit of background. So this, they had lots of little lunchy things in there. I've never seen a flight do that before. Give you a little bag of goodies. There, I think. I like when I do these types of journals. It doesn't have to all mean anything and match or anything, but I do like there to be mostly squares and rectangles for the ephemera. And I don't mind some torn edges like this, but squares and rectangles tend to Tetris better together than anything else. And most of what we end up cutting out as ephemera is a square or a rectangle. But it also helps when you've got like fussy cut or very specifically shaped pieces of like photos and stickers, because they tend to stand out more if everything else is the same shape, or, you know, square and rectangle, relatively the same shape. But it kind of works with my brain to have it this way. I'm trying to reveal the sticky part of this too. I don't need the whole thing, but I do want to just decorate the top of this just up here. Of course it doesn't want to come off. I thought that Steve and I were probably like the most random people to be going to France, but it turns out that tons of people we know were traveling to Paris, like even just friends as well, that Steve ended up meeting in London when we were like friends from here. Like we used to live in the same apartment block. And Steve used to work with them when he was out and about because I was sick in the hotel. He went out and met up with them in London, and we didn't even know that they had planned that. Like we hadn't planned that at the same time, obviously. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. Let me just cut it off. But yeah, it was really interesting to find out that tons of people we knew were also going to London and Paris at the same time. Steve had all these messages like, why are you here? What are you doing here? Come visit. And we didn't have a packed schedule, but we did have something on every day that made it a little difficult to just like venture outside of the norm. I'm gonna put this here because this is my entry into Paris. I'm gonna use this. Love these tapes. This one looks great because it's got almost barcodes on it like that stuff. I don't recommend, obviously, photocopying your your passport. I tried to get rid of any important information before I made this video, but if you see anything you shouldn't be seeing, no you didn't. There we go. Put that up here. The tape is mostly decorative. I'm gonna use a bit of tape runner to position that down. I don't feel like everything has to be covered up because I'm probably going to go back in here with stuff like this, and I wanted to journal about how Oliver did not want us to leave. He had taken the bags hostage before we left. Poor thing. It's their little LA airport parking thing. This might be cute as a little tab, maybe. Does it make sense as a tab? I think it makes sense this way as a tab. I've got the info on the back. Let's do that. We paid for the economy parking at the airport, which is not the cheapest, but what are you gonna do? I didn't want to take an Uber to the airport because I just get so stressed. And I am that person. I'm my mother. I'll be at the airport 7 hours early. Steve doesn't like it, but what are you gonna do? Steve's the person that gets, I don't know if I should tell this story, but Steve's the person that will get to the airport without his passport. When he was, the first time he came to visit me in Australia, he got all the way to the airport. And without traffic, we live about 40 minutes from LAX. With traffic, we live about 9 hours from LAX. And so when he got to the airport, he had called me. And I was so excited because I'm thinking, oh, he's coming tomorrow. And we had plans like right from the get-go as soon as he got off the airplane. And he goes, I forgot my passport. And I was like, no, you didn't. Like, this is a big joke. You didn't forget your passport. He was dead serious. He forgot his passport. I was fuming. So he literally missed his flight, had to get it rescheduled for the next day. You know, it was fine in the end. He came and we did our things, and he just had to deal with his jet lag when he got to Australia. But yeah, he will... When he went to Italy, he called me and he said he'd been in the wrong line for 40 minutes and that his plane was getting ready to board and he hadn't even been through the check-in yet. And luckily, an angel out of nowhere came and found anyone that had a flight that was about to leave and like fast-tracked him through. I had gotten all the way, I was about 10 minutes from home, and he said, I don't know if I'm gonna make my flight. And I said, you know what, Steve, at this point, stay at the airport. Like, stay at the airport, sleep in a chair, be in a hotel. I can't help you anymore. You always do this. I mean, I think we were 2 hours before the flight for that, which to me is too late. You need to be 3 hours for international. And especially at that time, there were still COVID restrictions that he was dealing with. So yeah, I just can't bear it. Steve always wants to stress me out on those flights. All right, I've got one more of these tickets, and I have these, which I thought would be really cute for some journaling because, you know, why not? I can't read French, so I could just put this over here like that. I think that would work. Is there anywhere else that looks like it needs... Oh, maybe here. That could be fine there, I think, actually. I like all the layering. And it can go over just a little bit. Like that? I think like that's good. If things get a little too hectic, like as I flip through it, if I feel like things are getting a little ruined, I'll always come back in with a little extra glue or something. This was a little sanitizer thing. Oh, I have my Tim Holtz mini attacher. I need to use this. I love using this. I'm gonna put this down here. I'm telling you, there's nothing I won't collect. Maybe because that's a little pouch I can put my sugar packet in there. Journal police are here. No, that's not gonna fit. I wonder if I could put a couple of these in here and make a little, not a tip in, but like a little card that I can pull out with a photo on it. Should I do that? Seems like an idea. Okay. Looks like they need to be where that says Carnet. I don't ever really measure things when I'm doing stuff like this. It's all eyeball and fix the mistake if you make a mistake. No time to be precious. You got so much holiday to journal. There we go. So that's a little card that I can put inside. I am gonna actually put this, I'm gonna tape this down, that way it's easier to get inside of. Because it's a little aluminium pouch, it's not a plastic one, so it's a little difficult. There you go. That can go in there. I'll worry about what to put on that in a minute. The only other thing I have at this point, oh, the mask. It's still, I did this in my Australian one, did I? No, maybe did a little bit. I did it in a planner. I wanted to put a mask in here because it is still a part of the travel experience at this point. It's not mandatory, I don't think, anymore, but there you go. It came in this, so I'll just put it back where it came from. Put that thing back where it came from, also help me. So help me. This is going on. Don't know what it says. It came with a, like a wet towel. Oh, there it is. Refreshing wet towel. Serviette. I like that. We say serviette in Australia. And it smells like, it smells like product. I don't know exactly what it smells like, but it's pretty. Just a bit of decoration. I won't really need much because I'm kind of full at this point. With this stuff, I never really know if it's going to stick, so that's why I love the tiny attacher, because you can just pop it on. And if you use the little staple, you can always get back underneath it and do some journaling underneath there. Did that go in? Yep. You know what? I'm gonna just see. Does it stick? Hope it sticks. Oh yeah, it sticks. Great. Do a little bit under there then. Got my sucra. It's just all flipping back and forwards, isn't it? I hope you're not getting seasick watching me put this together. This could go here. Why not? Let's see how long that lasts before it gets torn off. And then this little sugar packet, maybe put it up here. I have one more of these. I also have this. Should I just no, I don't want to do that because if it actually comes open, it'll ruin everything. I was going to just stick the sanitizer gel in there. These I can save for another time because these are great for all the other times we were on the metro in Paris. And maybe I want to use this if I feel like I need it. I have this. This could be useful for some other time because I think I've got enough here. And I think I might just put maybe this on the back of the one that I have here. Then I'll have the front and the back. That one. There you go. Good thinking, Batman. I can only tape it down here though, so that it doesn't cover up this journaling that I've done. So I'll just use this part. Hopefully it won't get ruined. That should be fine. I don't know. Don't know about that one. Maybe. That's a maybe. If it comes out, it comes out, but hopefully that works. Alrighty, let's see where we can put all these photos. Chronologically, this was when we arrived. This is when we left. I'm going to try and go somewhat chronologically. That's the before and after. This is at the airport, at the other end of the airport. This does not belong in this one. So we took an Uber. So I think these are the most important because it's kind of like the before and after of the trip. I'm going to leave this blank until I know what I really want to do with that. So this is at the start. Got my passport. I want to have this somewhere here because this is from my passport. So maybe just like that, maybe? This is only, oh, I was going to say it's my second time to France. No, one of my ships that I used to dance on went to France a lot. Like all the coastal parts anyway, but it was my second time to Paris. I went to Paris once when a ship I was working on went into dry dock. And we had the option of staying on and being on fire watch or going on a holiday. And I decided to go on a holiday. I only stayed there for a few days and I was with someone who knew people there. So I felt like I had a really, I wouldn't say authentic French experience, but I was with people that knew, well, that were local. And so it felt like less of a touristy experience. This was a touch more touristy because Steve likes to see all that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of tourist attractions, but I'll go if I have to. Steve really wants me to. Just as long as it doesn't take up the whole trip and we're not stressing over seeing something that is boring. Don't I sound spoiled? All right, before and after. This has got to go somewhere. Do you know what? Actually, this would be cute for the front, wouldn't it? Should I just leave these for... I should leave these for, like, the front until I know what I want to do with this cover page. I'll put those over to the side. We have Oliver. He has to be somewhere that I can talk about what he was up to. Being a mess. I have pens that can write over pretty much any surface, so even if I wanted to write on it here, it would be fine. But there's lots of blank space, so I don't really need to be conservative with it. I'll put it here, I think. Or up here. This looks good. So much easier just to peel them off and stick them in. I don't know if I could go back to just printing photos and gluing and cutting, like fussy cutting. I mean, I did fussy cut that, but do you know what I mean? Especially because if you look at my older journals where I glue, there's just glue marks everywhere. There's fingerprints everywhere, there's glue marks. The only downside to this, which I actually think is kind of a plus as well, because you don't want to bulk up your journals so much that they're unusable, but they are quite thin. So if you stick them on a paper like this, can you see, you almost see the rippling underneath. Yeah, not the best. Let's go for, this was us at the airport. I mean, I guess I could put this around here somewhere too. Yeah, it'd be nice to just have a lot of photos to look at when you open the book. And I'm going to just put a few touches of colourful washi tape on here, I think. Just add a pop of colour. I have this, which is, this reminds me of AbFab pop specs. As soon as we got off the plane, I was making a joke. Steve doesn't know AbFab, so the joke was kind of lost on him, but if you saw my Insta story, I was Patsy Stone trying to get on the luggage carousel looking for pop specs. Should I put this in this way so that you know there's something in there? Yeah, why not? Then this was the hotel. We kind of ransacked it. Is that the term? Like when we first got there. So I wanted to put that in. This way, maybe? See, here is something that's a large photo, so who knows how that's going to fit in. I might have to just put it on as a tip in, or does it fit any kind of way here without covering? No, it covers everything. I can just put it in here. Let me find something I can back it onto. Is this what I use this for now? Or do I use something from here? Maybe I'll try and put it on here. This has got a sturdy edge this way, but it's going to bulk up too much, I think. I think I just need a plain card or a piece of patterned paper. Piece of patterned paper, piece of patterned paper. Say that 10 times fast. Do you know what this is? No, I can't use this because this is going to go on my journal. Steve will get upset if it wasn't a part of the trip. He's such a purist. I know he'll say something. We can't have him saying things. I'm just gonna go to my box of ephemera. Here is all the other photos and all the other ephemera. I'm gonna find something in here. Oh, you know what I'm gonna use? I'm gonna use one of these. One of these food container things. Or I bought these markers. Do I dare use the Schweppes lemon? Let's use that. It's very thin, actually. I don't know if that would work. Let's use the noodle. Or does that have to go with... No, I'm gonna use this cappuccino. The noodle has to go with Steve being sick, because he got sick in Paris. I got sick in London. There you go, that works perfectly fine. So let's put that here. How am I gonna attach this first, just so I know? Let's rip off this edge. Don't want that, don't want that, don't want. Clock that reference. Cinderella's Story, Jennifer Coolidge, my fave. I think what would be better if I just flattened the edge of this. I'm not gonna miss it, and if it's a flat edge, I can just washi tape it in. So I'm gonna go with my Tonic Studios. There you go. Now that that's flat, I can put this photo on here. And there'll be some room to journal and decorate around it. Put it up a little bit because I'm going to put washi tape down there. Well, Steve's here and he's singing. Steve, I'm filming. You're fine. But you're recorded singing. Yes. What will we do? What? Whatever will we do? No, it's live. What? Steve, stop talking if you don't want to be in it. Alright, let's tape this down here. These stickers aren't that important. I just put them in there because I was I knew they were stickers when we got them, and I was just wanting to put some stickers down. There. I need to see where this is going to go, so flip that washi tape up. There you go. That's straight. Does that go over too much of the edge? That's really sticking out, isn't it? Okay, let this be the guide as this. It can't go any further than this now. This is the widest we're allowed to go out to the edge. Now I'll try and move it back a touch, but I think I did this with my my other journal, my Christmas one, and I kept getting wider and wider and wider to the point where the journal was like twice the width. Ooh. Okay. This is difficult. I think I should have just left it where it was, actually. There. Go there. You know, I just realized I'm going to have to watch through all of this to know where I'm going to put the little clips of whatever I'm talking about. So I should try and be more entertaining for myself when I watch it back later. There you go. Loving that. This was in the Uber on the way to the Airbnb. So I'm going to put that down here. Actually, I might put it here, kind of. Oh, that covers the Air France then. Oh, it's okay. I'm going to put it here so I can do a little journaling on the paper. And some washi. Some of these photos were taken on my mini cam, the little orange camera I've shown before, this one. It's like a children's underwater camera. It's just really fun. Any that you see with this date on there, which I didn't realize until I got home, the date was completely wrong. So now I'm irritated that the date's all over it and it's all wrong. What can you do? This was a selfie I took in the mirror when we got there. I wonder if this will go here nicely. Just want to make sure it's not going to cover the opening there. It's going to cover all my stuff. Maybe here? I know it's not technically in the right order, but I think I'm going to do that. This is the benefit of that kind of layering style, is that by the time you get to your photos, I mean, other than having to tip them in creatively, which is actually a lot easier than trying to figure it out at the beginning, you're just left with all this opportunity just to kind of, you know, choose your spot. It's all decorated really with all of your ephemera. So much ephemera on holidays, like you really don't need to buy anything to decorate. You can just decorate everything with what you had collected when you were there. All right, so writing, that'll have to happen. I wonder, so I took all of this with me, mostly all of this, some of it's over there. I wonder if I don't do some just little pencil scribbles here and there just to color match some things. Or like with around the border of this, like maybe give it a bit of color because it's cardboard, it should work. And the benefit of choosing all of these colors before I left was that I had this palette that I really, really enjoyed and that was really specific to my trip. Like it's kind of, now I associate it with that. And I liked how all the colors worked together, so I didn't feel like I actually had to choose any colors. Even now I'm not choosing them, I'm just picking them up as we go. And it brings a color story, like a nice harmony to the whole thing. The cat's going crazy over there. You right, Oliver? That's cute. I don't really feel inspired to draw anything based off of our flight there. More just writing, actually. Documenting like what I watched, what I ate, which I do kind of forget all of that now. That's why I tried to do it when I went. But I don't really know what I did on the way back. What am I gonna do about that? Just make it up. I think I remember what I watched. Not off the top of my head right now. So, this was the only washi tape I took with me. And I'm going to keep it out, but I am going to supplement with other washi tapes that I like. And also, perhaps use some Collage Club images. This is all from my travel journal, so I don't really need to be using these, but I mean, things like the stars, like those are cute. I can use those. There'll be a cute little tie-in throughout the whole thing. These work. That ribbon, it's more for Paris, the city, croissant. I have a photo of me eating a croissant, so I'll save that for that. Paris, the Moulin Rouge, moi. Oh, you know what? This looks fab, and I think I'll put it, maybe I won't even cut it out. Maybe I'll just have this bad cut job, make it a little smaller. I'm gonna put this here. Since it's a selfie. Oh, Bianca. Do you hear her hissing? And Paris. Put that. Oh, this needs to stay in there. How do I stay that in there? Just put a little tape. Don't move. Put that down there. Oh no, I got tape. Oh, there, it came off. Layering is the key. You think you're going to cover something up and it's going to be a problem, and it never is. I only learned that by covering a lot of things up and realizing, oh, I'm not mad about it. Unless you are someone that gets mad about it. There you go. Maybe I'll use this sticker. This was technically the sticker of us leaving to go. And a little washi tape, I think, would be nice. Alrighty, so dare I put any more colored pencil? I could draw a plane. I already did kind of draw a plane. Well, I drew wings. That's my plane. I'm not very good at drawing planes. I think in my other travel journal I did an origami plane, so I wouldn't have to draw it. I won't draw a plane, but I will do some color. Maybe just a strip of color going all up here. Just to break it up a little bit. Add a little something extra. This looks like it could do with something. Do I want this ribbon in here? Yeah, that looks cute in there. Let's tuck it in there. I don't necessarily want this to look like my garbage journal, but I am kind of approaching it the same way, where I'm using some of the ideas of what I know, how I like to put my travel journals together. It's like some of the things I've learned, but also adopting that fuss-free attitude to just sticking it down. Who really cares? Because that is something I'm really enjoying at the moment. And I always feel like you should lean in to whatever mood you're in. I could halfway through this completely change and suddenly want to get really specific and planned out and blah, 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 but chances are slim. Alrighty. That's that on that, I think. Journaling or a photo or some tickets, maybe? Maybe some of these tickets. Oh, this one's long. Put this long one on here. That's cute. put that there. I had no idea which tickets we were supposed to be using half the time. It took us a couple of days to even figure out that we weren't really using the right ones. Yeah, I think that's it. If I do anything else, it'll probably be stickers or some journaling and drawing. I don't know if I'll film that because that might be a little boring, or if I do, maybe I'll put it in speed and put it at the end of the video. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed watching this first part come together. I know it's not many stories because it's only the start of the trip. And I think mostly I complained about being not a big fan of Air France. Ironically, it was slow roast on the way there and it was absolutely freezing in the cabin on the way back. So you really couldn't prepare for it. But we had a good time. So, you know, it's all part and parcel of going on a big holiday. I'll be back with another episode of this hopefully soon, maybe next week, and putting together the first day in Paris, which we went on a river cruise and watched the Eiffel Tower at night with twinkling lights. I think that's when we're going to start to get into more of the footage and more of the stories and more of actual Paris, not plane and cat. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you had a good time. I'll see you again soon. Bye.